All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Minecraft Musings on Tuesday. Yeah, sorry, I didn't have work yesterday because of the holiday and as you probably already know from all of the massive, well, see, I don't know, it's funny because you got to speak to the people that are watching currently that don't know who you are, and then the people that are subscribed to you, and then the people and I don't know, just focuses on, hey, it's Tuesday. So, anyways, a lot of interesting things coming and going. Um, Let's see. I was actually just having a chuckle because I went through the portal, and as I was going through the portal, I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Wait a minute! I didn't have a portal next to the railway, the tracks." And sure enough, I don't. And so I have a ton of tracks. And actually, I guess that is what we could be doing now. I just assumed I'd actually come in here and build onto this wonderful outpost here, which is basically just this little tiny outpost, which I'm leaving the doors open. I'm used to my little automated, you put pressure plates, and then you can just walk and go. So, as you know from my videos, now and see that even that's making assumptions that you've seen any of the other ones. So, I don't know. It's a toss up. It's like how much do you want to optimize for treating the majority of the viewers specially tailored or not? And so, I don't know. I was also chuckling at I'm just gonna stop saying this is gonna be a short one, this is gonna be a long one because I honestly have no idea. It all just depends on how much I feel like I'm getting out, if I think it's worth it or not. Yeah, and I do go back and I delete some, but don't worry, I'm not sitting there at the same time oh, re-record, that one's not good enough. And I've learned that, ooh, I forgot I did that. But I've learned that that's important. Like you can't be too hard on yourself because that is analysis paralysis in the sense that, you'll never really produce anything if it's just, and even if it's just close enough. That's part of why I can do that and give you subpar stuff. But no, what I'm talking about is I'm encouraging to teach other people on how to do these things. Now, yes, it is kind of a cop out saying, "Oh, I'm trying to teach you how to use YouTube." Because I feel like everybody does that, or at least starts to try to explain why they're doing what they're doing. Because we all feel awkward, especially when we're on display. And until we actually know, how it looks, how it sounds, how it, the actual trend it sets, or whatever. There's all sorts of other factors. I mean, sometimes, I still haven't released that one video because I started going into stuff that I was like, maybe that's a little oversharing, and that's fine too because and again, I don't break the law. I'm totally fine with the fact that the CIA and the alphabet agencies and they know probably every intricate detail about me, or they don't, or they probably don't care and they're not paying attention. But I'm not naive enough to think that they're not capable. So anyway, my point being is, if I was going to be in trouble, I'd be in trouble. But the oversharing was just a little too much personal stuff, and and there are reasons why I understand certain perspectives and environments a little more than others, but we will go on into that much later on. Now, in the meantime, just on the things that I do feel I feel comfortable sharing. That's the other thing too. And that's why I took down the political divide thing. I had a whole playlist, and I still do. It's hidden for talking about politics because it was just so cringe and so uncomfortable. And unfortunately, that's why I try to do it because it is so uncomfortable and that is a problem worth solving if there was ever was one. Also, I don't know why I'm trying to queue up water. There's water sources right outside. I mean, literally that's why there's a bridge over, but there's not one right here. Anyways, and I don't even know why I needed water. I'll just go build the railroads. Let's let's keep working on the tracks because basically where we're at right now. Hold on, let's oh, so actually, I don't even know. Do I have? Oh yeah, this is Endarius, but I'll put this here so you can see we are still to the right of Endarius, or east of Endarius, and south. So we are in, and this map in my right hand is actually 2 units south. So 2 map lengths south, I guess I should say. That's why it looks like I'm way too high on that one and then way too low on this one. I'm you know, the the white teardrop. There you go. Sorry, I don't even know what those are. The white marker, but yeah, it looks like a teardrop. Now it's like a pointer as I spin. Anyways, you can look at both of them spinning at the same time. Suffice to say that I completely was not expecting this outpost because when I left, I was finding this map down there. And so I think I came here with the intention of trying to build something. And I don't know, it's been more than 5 minutes. And, as someone I know says, yeah, More than 5 minutes, I don't remember. That's the world of tech. I mean, especially when you're doing like a million tasks at once. Not a million, but um, it's definitely not that bad. But that is part of why I continue to improve or try to work on my approach to um, behavioral problem solving. I guess is a good way to put it. Like without actually going full therapist, like I don't know. I like working in IT. I don't really want to learn a whole new profession that way. However, at the same time, I feel like I've had enough experience. I don't know. It's a tricky it's a tricky concept, but the reason that I wanted to, I was so eager to jump on Musings was because I was thinking more or like a whole nother aspect. So, and actually, I'm just checking my notes here. So, yeah, Coach Graph. We're not all experts on everything. And that is important too. And I've said stuff similar to that. And like we hear things similar, like, you don't know the battles that someone else is facing. Oh, wait, wait. So this is new. That's right. So I think this is the original one that comes by. Yeah, because I built sorry, I had to just kind of like retrace my steps so the orientation of that, ooh, so I went that way too, which means I went all the way down and did tracks. So does that mean if I were to go down there, I wonder how far did I build? It's like a surprise. No, anyways, I've said before, or almost everybody's heard the saying or something to the tune of, "Oh wait, I'll get all this stuff too." Um, Everyone's heard something like, "Be kind. You don't know the battles other peoples are facing," or just try to be kind, and then they'll even leave off the other parts. And the whole point of all that is you really don't know what anyone else is going through, and that's their environment, their universe, their situation, their perspective, and it is specifically tailored to them, for them, and by them, and all of that. I know it's that cheesy thing of or like this is made by you for you, like blah blah blah. Actually, I should have just. Actually, I can't even pick it up. So let's yeah. And then let's put a block there. There. Oh, no, 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 no. And that's already a bad idea to have it all tight like that. And I really should make all the hallways like just default of 3. I mean, that's just kind of there's been a lot of things like how I traded my crops like instead of stack at a time to even just now like should I make it 3 deep or whatever, or it's always just been 2 because all you need is well really it could just be the one, but I at least like to put another one for the redstone torches, but then it's like then you're crammed on this side. Anyways, I digress. There's always room for improvement, and that does answer my question that we made it this far south, but we did not. And now I do remember that, and that's why I did that. I went as far as it could have been, but now I don't know. So now, and that's why I even went a little further past, as you can see. So now I know for a fact that when I do go back and then drop back down to the middle one, to that green dot, then I can make a tunnel over to here. Yeah, now we can go. Um, Thus connecting these tunnels with the rails that I have. And then from there, I want to continue going out west and connect up that one because I eventually plan on doing the 8th and the 9th squares of my own little Sudoku grid. And that was a way roundabout way of saying, yeah, so I continued to mine and build this little track last night. So that's about it. I mean, I did a lot of other stuff too. That's why I didn't really remember. I was working on Jamboards, working on other projects. I've got some Scratch programs. Now that I can record easily, I guess that's the thing. I should explain that real quick. So it took me a while, and the reason that I've stuck more to PlayStation streaming. Wait, so now I'm going over. Sorry, okay, I do need to go over back to the main hub. And that's why I wanted like all of these maps too, so I can kind of like frame a reference, you know. But anyways, for anybody else that is wanting to make their own tutorials, their own videos, their own musings, everything, um, it is important to note that, and to understand too, I guess I should say, is not everybody understands what a good recording software is right away. And mine was especially a facepalm because I started with Twitch because I had a friend show me that. So right there, that is how I knew about it. Because I knew about Twitch. You can say the name Twitch all day. That doesn't change anything. That doesn't increase my understanding of it, my willingness to learn it, or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, yeah, it's just Twitch. And that is a common human trait. And this actually ties into this other thing I say is like why we need to be more patient with people, especially people with different backgrounds. Now, whether they be older or from another country that doesn't have as easily available tech. And I'm not saying like this was something that always bothered me with like, oh, we need to help the poor in Africa. Well, yeah, but more specifically like the war torn and stuff. And that's because of a lack of experience and exposure. And I haven't even been to Africa. This is just because I studied an area in Africa. Oh, wait, I don't even have to count it out because I already did this part. Sorry. Um, but I do know that they could use more tech. And an article I read more recently, and they being like many places, but not all places. I completely understand that there are some very, I mean, well, okay, very developed places, but at the same time, like Chappie with Johannesburg or Joburg, like that is one of the few things that I do have to go off of, and that doesn't make a much better picture of it, but um, it's not like they're all out in mud huts or anything. And I know that because I also studied, and that's super racist, by the way, but like, no, I know that because in anthropology, we studied several different like aspects of that. And there are still people that do choose to, or well, they do live in that way. And whether they choose to, or it's more, I don't know. See, even that, like, I don't want to misspeak with that, but there are still Kung tribes people. There are still um, tribes people. Well, and mind you, this was back in, anything could change overnight. Seriously, like that's how fast we're growing now that we have such advanced communication technology and such advanced tools that we are finally, I guess it's not even that we have them now, it's that we're finally learning how to utilize them. Okay, so right here, yeah, there's the thing. So now, if I wanted to go straight out from this, actually, let's do it right here. Try to make it as close as possible, then boom. And we'll just still do two. And maybe that's why I did the two too, because I think I did line up a hallway, now that I think about it, with one of the other ender portals. But now we're building a network that connects all of these portals, so we don't have to continually start at the main hub, or we always have to do, pretty much, or we usually do have to start at the main hub, but then, like, you know, it just adds more versatility. I'd like it to more be a grid than a T. Or a cross. Didn't even think about that, but anyways, so what we all do, we make up assumptions to, oh, and see right there, that's why I usually like to, but I wasn't. I usually like to crouch when I'm doing these things, but I wasn't. So anyways, I could have totally fallen to my death. I mean, that isn't actually that bad of a fall, but you never know. There could be lava, there could be things, and even on peaceful, yeah, but I'm still, like, this stuff goes so fast, and you also got to be quick in case there's like lava. But anyways, sorry. What I'm saying is like we falsely create false universes and false environments and false kind of pigeonholes. Like we don't intend to, and no matter how much we don't want to, it is a natural instinct to try to describe something or understand something to determine if it's dangerous or not. And that's the basic way to put it. That's just biology at the basic level, is like that is your instinct to understand what's going on. Am I in danger? Or and then, humans even take it, well, it might not exclusively be humans, I should say that, but I at least know for sure we take it a step further and we say, well, and actually if you think about it, so sorry, I'm just going back and forth with that. We also try to predict the future. And by that, I mean, we try to make it to where what we say and do isn't going to be a problem for future us. And we do it. And every moment, every situation, every decision. And that's an easy way to describe why the younger you are, the higher chance you are of making mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes can be very big mistakes, and then you end up like, going to prison for a very long time, and then it's like, you're done. You might as well just die. Like, no, not really, but it almost seems like that. So that's, why I advocate so much for that sort of thing, prison reform. But no, but the point is like your decision maker isn't fully developed into your mid to late 20s. Sorry, I still feel it's like early 30s, but like, cause I'm mid 30s now, and I feel like it was like a light switch. Like it just kind of clicked. Like after a while, it was just like, wait, the things that used to be really important to me aren't really all that important now. See, there's another pit I could have fallen into. Um, And that could also be from having kids too. Like seriously, that could be a mental thing that just kind of switches a light switch like that. But I don't know. That's why I'm recording all this and documenting all this stuff. And that's why musings, because it really is. You're just trying to figure out, like, puzzle through things. Like, he puzzled some more until his puzzler was sore. Although it's never sore. It just keeps going. I digress. But the point I'm trying to make is that we accidentally, and sometimes intentionally, because maybe we've been burned enough to want to especially solve that problem in advance and not want to go down that road again. So, and that's why, and again, I'm not justifying behavior with any of this. I'm just trying to explain the why. Like, this is basically the motive to any human behavioral trait that could lead to a crime or an undesired behavior. Because I'm not saying everything is like, oh, that's a crime, this is a crime, like, sounding like Chappie. It is a really great movie. Go check it out if you haven't. But, now see, now I have the option. So we had the thing lining up. We could make it three, and then, yeah, let's do it. And then we're gonna alternate. Oh, oh, oh! See, whew, that could have been so bad because you don't know if they're. Oh yeah, see, there's a couple more missing, and I even knew there was gonna be a chance. Here we go. But then I gotta be careful like that. It's kind of like shaving too, like you see in heavyweights shaving the balloon, because you don't want to start poking holes further. So you want your backdrop, which is useful when shooting firearms or nail guns or construction in general. Like you want to make sure your backdrop is safe. So if you miss, especially when shooting guns, if you miss the target, are you going to hit something? And is that going to be bad? Like that's what that's why hunter safety is so important. That's why it's so common sense to just be like, all right, if you want to own a gun, make hunter safety mandatory. Because I can explain that to you in just like 2 seconds. But seriously, like coming from someone that like stands up in front of the class, tells you about these things, trains you how to use these things, and then says, okay, I feel confident that they can use these things. Like that would solve so many problems. But anyways, back to just the decision making that we make with interacting with each other. Like in our day-to-day interactions, we always make an unconscious check to see, wait, is this dangerous? And really, we do that every time. I mean, especially like the louder the noise or the brighter the light or the larger the stimuli, the more we're likely to say, wait, are we in danger? That's why jump scares are such a thing, because it's like a very loud noise, and it is directly proportional. I mean, I haven't proven this. I don't know. I can't say that with authority, but in my opinion, see, it is definitely like directly relational. Like you could draw a graph and say like, okay, well this decibel of a noise makes this person jump this high. Although you can't really test something like that, at least not humanely, and that's not cool. You shouldn't be scaring people like that. I worry about giving my son heart attacks because I used to scare him, but now like after a couple times when I saw it, I was like, oh no. Now I'm like extra cautious to not like do jump scares and stuff, even though that's like in the games they like to play. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh wait, I can do the, or now it's just down to 20. See, sometimes that's even harder. Now we gotta go down to 12, like remembering basic math, which I struggle at sometimes too. And it might sound funny, but I can derive algorithms and stuff. And see right there, I just was getting to chatting, and then you can break that. Anyways, like when I was using a cash register for my work, like I was on point with making change. I could add and subtract numbers all day, it didn't matter. Because I would have so many test cases every day thrown at me, constantly giving me practice at that particular skill set. Now, when you fall out of that skill set, it tends to get a little rusty. I mean, that's why we call it that. We say, oh, you're getting rusty or something, or oh, you need some training, or, whatever. Like, and there's no shame in it. I mean, we deteriorate over time, and that's why you really shouldn't ever be done learning, because even the stuff that you learn and studied and just, it's if you don't nurture, I don't know. Unless it's like really traumatic. And again, that goes back to why we do what we do as far as reacting. So, and that's an interesting thing to think about, is because also all of these outside factors, external stimuli or external, oh man, we don't even have any rails. All right, so never mind. This is going to be a pretty boring thing. So we can go down to 14 and then down to 6. 6 plus 8 is 14. And then we could, but I don't. All right, well, actually, let's do this. We'll do the 6, and then, whoops, then 7, 8. See? Making it to where I know, and I don't have to count it later. So I'm making it nice for future me. You can think of it that way. And we really should. We should always be setting ourselves up for success whenever we can. And that's why if I have like something that just takes a couple seconds, I generally try to do it. Not always. And I'm still getting better at like doing dishes, for instance. Like, I'll do them as needed. It was especially bad when I had roommates. Like, I don't know. Then it was just kind of like, hit or miss, depended on how well they were trained or how well they were coming along in their adulthood. Because again, college is like, there's a time and place for everything. And adulting is definitely where you first experience that, usually. Hmm. Even as I say that, I took a year off. I took a gap year after high school to stay up in Buena Vista. So I had an extra year on the people learning to live independently. So I guess that's part of why, I don't know. I had a lot of like, no, that's not exactly why. Sorry, it's like you can't say with a definitive understanding that, yep, that's why. That's it right there. So, anyways, we're working that way. So we should. So it's on this one and this one. So if we were to line it up again, we would go to this one, make this the middle one, if we were trying to make it the same. And also, I'm about to break my pickaxe, so I need to be careful anyway. And then, as long as you jump back out, it'll still make the sound, but, all right, and that's probably good. And also, I still have all this ton of netherrack. All right. Let's go get some iron. Is there anything I can consolidate? Um, there's Septopolis. Yeah, let's just be done exploring for now. Let's go get some iron. Well, let's go fix our tool. Oh, let's go fix our tools. So we'll go stop by the village trade. Oh no, because I don't stop by there. I can hop out and walk, but then I have to walk the rest of the way. Actually, no, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just gonna confuse myself down the road. See, already I'm predicting what's gonna happen when I get to the end of this. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the villagers to heal up my pickaxe, but in doing so, I have the option of riding all the way back to my home base, which, as you can see on the map, is that lower green dot. Or, oh wait, I mean, I am gonna be doing that anyway, but all I'm negating is the distance from that green dot to not the green dot, like the villagers, where I have the other railway. Sorry, I'm trying to think of how to describe even that. Wait a minute. Okay. Back to situations and places and all that. So, environments, perspectives, and experiences, even? You could even think about it in that. They all help to shape our behaviors, both reactionary and inflictionary or whatever, like non-reactionary, like how we treat others and then how we react to how others treat us. So that's why when people say, oh, they're just being thin-skinned or oh, they generally are. Maybe they've got something going on that continually is a problem and that continually places them in. Well, even as I say that, there's many sayings for that, like, oh, you need to go get, or oh, like they're just stressing out, or whatever the case may be. They're not getting their needs met, and so how do you problem solve in a scalable solution? Ooh, wait. Oh, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking I could just go trade with them, but I don't. Wait, I do. I think yes, I do have a ton. All right, but no, you know what? It's still not worth it because the amount of villagers over there, I already know. It's much easier and much faster to just go this way. And then I will go mine at the lapis lazuli pyramid because that's a lot less mined. I think actually I don't even know. Yeah, I think I've mined a lot less there. But even as I say that, I could be wrong. Anyways, yeah. So situations they shape our behaviors both towards each other and from each other. And there's no one size fits all solution to that. I mean, you can have better interactions with people if you keep a happy demeanor, but that's easier said than done. And that's actually the base problem for just about all substance abuse, and not substance use, mind you, all substance abuse. And I'm talking when it crosses a threshold to where it's becoming a problem. All right, now ready? Watch this. We're gonna bail, and the cart's gonna go the rest of the way slowly, and then we're going to mine, trade, mine, and then walk back in that order. So, but anyways, whoop, let's see. Oh, did it take a llama? I think it took a llama. Okay, wait, now we gotta go look. Seriously, do that. It did. It took a llama. Oh my gosh. Um, all right, well, that's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a short too, I can tell you that. I have a lot of more fun too. Oh, sorry, not more fun. I mean, I do have fun solving problems, but these problems aren't gonna be solved overnight. So this is more work, but it's still fun work, if that makes sense. But no, the fun, oh my gosh, I love my Minecraft shorts because they are actually fun and they're the most popular by far. And not surprisingly so. Although I feel bad because then it's like, I show some cool Minecraft video and then it's like, all right, here's how to know yourself, like and deeply inspect yourself and others. And it's like, okay, wait, I didn't sign up for this. Like, actually, I don't think we. See, now we're into a clutter issue because I have all this stuff. Yeah, but then I got to remember that it's all here. So again, analysis paralysis. But if I'm going to be mining, all right, so it's all here. This is all the stuff I was doing. It'll be kind of obvious with all the maps and the, yeah, and the this. Okay, now, sorry, while we're doing this, I do want to describe one of my football coaches, and that's why, and I'm not going to let my kids play football. I mean, that's pretty much just a thing. But um, back in the day and in my environment, that was what you did. Like you just, either you played football or you cheered on the people that did. That was basically like the thing. Or you resented the people that did. There's definitely some of that going on. Like small town sports and like, what is that? It's, it's not Blue Mountain State, although that is a, that is a messed up TV show. It's a college show. And yeah. But anyways, no, what I was thinking about is that it's that Blue Mountain High, maybe. Anyways, it's the movie where they throw a football and they get hit in the face because of pride. Like they let their ego get in way of their decision maker. They're also drinking beer, and so there's another inhibition to their decision maker. So you add all that up and you get a situation for disaster. He smacks him in the face with the football. Or no, it was the dad. And yeah, and then the kid threw it, and it was because the dad was pressuring him. And there you go. So there's your perceived lack of or lack of adequacy. So they're right there. But it's a perceived shortcoming of some kind is basically what it is. So like, or at least I say perceived because most of the time it is all in your head. And see, people have heard that like, oh, it's just all in your head. Oh, don't worry about it. It's not what you think. Like, oh, but then you hear that. It's like, oh no, honey, it's not what you think. And then it really is what you think, which is why we need to get into the idea of the fragility of human emotions in a relationship state to where we should just kind of move. See that? Let me back up a little bit. What I was thinking, the main thing that I wrote down was throughput. And by that, I mean, when you're trying to problem solve with a person, and you need to be especially careful with a person because, and for this reason, this is all relevant because you don't know their environment. You don't know their history. You don't know me. Like, hear that on, what is that? That's a Rick and Morty thing too. But anyways, it's very true. You don't know a person's past history or anything. You can't judge a book by its cover, but you can get an idea and a starting point. So all of these things, it's all relevant. It's all kind of tied together. But the point is you don't really understand somebody to the point where you can make good educated decisions on how to really act around them for certain is what I should say. Now you know how you should act around people in general, but then all right, so I know how to act to people if they're being nice and normal, especially if they're being nice. That's easy. Yeah, you're just nice back. That's the default behavior. I know that for a fact. Like, or at least that's mine. Well, yeah, your default behavior, you're off in your thought somewhere, you're doing something, and someone approaches you. How they approach you is instantly going to set the stage for how you want to talk back to them. So, That's something to keep in mind. So, I mean, but then also you don't want to be like seem insincere and try to approach someone all lovey-dovey and singy, be like, oh, la la la, like, could you? I mean, you definitely can, and that works for some people. In fact, I'm thinking about someone right now that like they do that all the time, and it works for them. Like they can actually do it, and they seem genuine. But I think it's because they're also quick to say, well, no, and they'll make a sigh, they'll take a deep breath, they'll turn their head to the side, and they'll let you know, they'll try to prepare you that here comes something that you might not like. And really, if you think about it, whenever we're delivering bad news, we tend to do the same thing because we're trying to minimize the blowback from whatever we're about to say or do because we're always trying to problem solve in the sense of survival and safety for ourselves. And then as we get older and start thinking more, and sorry, not just older, because young people are definitely capable of this, especially with more technology, more socializing through all that, and more kind of rounding out the rough edges that without this tech, we didn't really have an easier enough time to do this. So, just another reason why I'm so optimistic about the future, so excited about all this stuff, and also so dedicated to trying to keep. Not like I'm doing something really. I'm playing video games and talking. Like, let's not get that confused. But you know, this is important to me for these reasons. So, anyways, and it should be important to you too. Um, you, the viewers. But, anyways, back to that. So, situations framing our behavior towards each other and oh let's heal this up in case we decide to go get some more crops too. Why not? Because it's one of my favorite activities while I'm using. But um anyways, so that's just something to take into consideration yourself, and once you understand that, it's easier to just kind of be more patient with people. And you just got to understand, so they might be having a bad day, a bad life, a bad week, like, there's a number of things that could be the case, and you don't know. I mean, and literally, yeah, I've seen the happiest person become like super evil over something that happened, and vice versa. Like, someone who's usually just really grouchy or everything, then just become the nicest person because something happened. Sorry, that's like obviously something. No, sorry. Anyways, I digress. Oh, and I always forget that I have emeralds there, but it doesn't matter because I'm pretty sure that doesn't make a block. I think you have to have 9. I don't even remember. I don't pay attention. And in fact, I think it is 9. Yeah, let's see. Yep. So you have to fill all of them into it. I guess that makes sense. It's 1 block worth. And we're making 1 block worth of maps. We're making 1 Sudoku grid worth, or 9 spots. See, just relational. Relating things to, oh, let's go work on this pyramid. Because I think we're getting close. So, yep. Oh wait, no, we still have one more layer at least. But we're gonna finish up that row. So, anyways, yeah, behavioral problem solving is that's a nice easy way to like phrase it, and I'm sure it exists. Like I know it exists. Okay, that's psychology. That is therapy. That is, behavioral psychology. You got to study the biology, the chemistry of the brain, like all of these things, and how substances act on the brain. And I'm not just talking about like drugs or caffeine or any of that. Like, blood or air or, because like an oxygen bubble in like an IV is deadly, I think. But then I say that, well, because I'm pretty sure it's deadly because we talked about it, or they talked about it on Bullet Train. And you'd like to think that they did their research and confirmed that that was really a way to kill somebody. However, it could be an urban myth. And actually, I almost wonder if it isn't like one of those urban myths left out there as like a honeypot, or like a bait bike or a bait car. Like they do that, and they intentionally leave that detail out, like, oh, it's really not deadly, just to see who tries to put air bubbles inside an IV. And it sounds stupid, but I bet you somebody would get caught like that because when you're out there committing crimes, you're probably not thinking, and especially if it's gotten to the point where you're contemplating murder. Oh my gosh, you're either one, young to where your decision maker isn't quite developed, or two, you've had a number of poor decisions work in your favor, or at least work to the point where you don't see the actual cost to doing it again. So that is something else to consider. Like you can punish someone all day, but if it's not the right punishment, then they're not going to learn anything. Like it's just going to be like, okay, I'll just do it again, And that's and we see these things and we think they're really obvious, but it's hard. There is no one size fits all. That's why you got to behavioral problem solve all the time. And even then, it's like, no, I do. Sorry, I take that back. I do feel confident in my ability to really work with people, be patient. And I say that, and there are some times where it could be, depending on what's happened that day. Maybe I'm just in a bad mood, or maybe it's a little harder that day to be patient. But no matter what, I still always remember, and even if I forget for the first little bit, I always try to remember, like, wait, am I approaching this properly? Am I doing this right? Like, and that's why it's hard because I feel like all of us try to do something like that too, or we'll, if not that, what we also do is like, oh, that was a bad thing to do. I'll try to remember to apologize to them next time or something like that, and then you might forget between then and there, and then it's just like you do that a lot of times, and then you just start to come off as that prick that just like keeps doing weird things, like, oh, but I'll just write him an IOU, or oh, I'll just make up for it next time. Like they don't understand that it's like no, one times or two times, okay, whatever, but if you keep doing it then no amount of friendship should really. I say that, but really, death is the only permanent. I mean, if you can really reach an agreement and like, come together on something, then fine, yeah, do it. Like that's why we need to stop being so black and white and stop pigeonholing. Well, no, that is the binary bias. Like just because something doesn't happen doesn't mean everything's not going to happen. That's very vague. It's like so just because you didn't get the job doesn't mean you're never going to get a job, and that's very true. Like as I get into my career advice stuff, especially for tech careers, because the market, well, let's just face it, the market is saturated with every type of skill imaginable. And it's even more so with tech because that is just such a fancy degree. Like everybody wanted to like, oh, go play with tech all day or go play video games all day. Like, that's what I thought about. Like, oh, I want to go make video games. So I wanted to be a game designer. And then I learned quickly that, you know, it's not as easy as that. And a lot of times that's a more stressful job. Not always, but, and then you get movies like Grandma's Boy come out where then you get to see exactly what it's like to be like a game tester. And even that's not even really accurate because, like a game tester is much more boring than that. Like you don't just get to. Well, I digress. Grandma's Boy is a wonderful movie. Go check it out. And that's actually what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to first I got to check the legality and see if I really feel good about it because I want to do tributes to Adam Sandler. So I would like to maybe write to him first, but that's never worked. I've written to a few celebrities, well, like three, and I haven't gotten a write back. That's okay. I don't really expect them to. And it was kind of weird. It wasn't like stalkerish. All right, now that sounds like there's a whole story. No, I just got drunk one night and wrote to one hip hop artist and said, "Hey, you should come do a concert, and like donate and charity." And once you start saying those things, it's like, no way. Like, it's a business. They're trying to perform. Unless they're not, unless they're really trying to like, oh wait, we're trying to go to bed, huh? Okay. It is nighttime, but then I don't get to sleep for a little while. So you guys go ahead, guys and gals. See, again, that's like kind of like gender neutral-ish. I don't know. They definitely don't sound neutral-ish though. Huh. Huh. I could be wrong though. That is presumptuous. All right. Anyway, and exposure to things. Let's actually talk about that for a sec. So, part of the reason that I like to try to connect these dots so much is because I do seem to remember some of what could be considered the dumbest things, like movie quotes, or catchy sayings, or the way that I felt when interacting with people. I mean, I've always had kind of like a little thing at the back of my mind. Yeah, it's another form of analysis paralysis, but just dealing with people. Like how do I interact with this person? Well, one, so they like me, like it's the best interaction possible. Two, and that sounds pretty messed up, and that is true when you're in puberty. You're like, okay, now how do I study and learn, and how do I talk to women, like, and not even women. We're just talking to other girls in our like grade school, not grade school. It's like middle schools when you, yeah. Because I think I remember we watched the videos like right at the end of fifth grade. So. But then I feel like we also did health classes in middle school. Anyways, my point with all that is like, we're already trying to manipulate each other's emotions and behaviors. Like we're already trying to social engineer the best possible outcomes for any scenario that we could possibly come up against. Like that's just human nature. I mean, and the people that are grifters and matchstick people, used to be matchstick men, matchstick people, whatever, con artists, they something happens along the way, and this is my theory or my opinion, to where they don't actually feel remorse. They could maybe feel some remorse, but it's still leveraged against the rewards. Like, if you got away with robbing a bank and you think that you just robbed a faceless corporation, fine. Like, that might actually justify that a little more. However, if you were to actually personally put, okay, so the bank lost the money, now they have to let go so many people. Well, okay, so you just stole 3 jobs or 4 jobs. Even one job is too much because you just put hardship on someone's life for your immediate gain, you know. So that's just why, like, it's like you need to be thinking about these things so you don't do these things in the first place. Now, that's easier said than done. Like, you know, thinking about Jean Valjean with Les Miserables, he stole the bread because he needed to feed a family or something like that. I would have to look it up. But I saw Les Mis at the Buell once. Yeah, my redneck hick self went and saw Les Mis. So, although I hate calling it Les Mis now that I say that a couple of times. Les Miserables is like, and I don't even say it with the French accent because I don't speak very well French or any French, actually. And I don't have an accent. So right there, I know that if anybody did, they would call my bluff and be like, oh, yeah, that's horrible French accent. Like, you don't speak French, like, clearly. So, you know, anyways, that's direct accountability. And that's assuming, because in my mind, okay, so there was that show. Let me back up a little bit. There was that show, Ally McBeal, where she used to imagine these things and then they'd do these ridiculous animations, like a head exploding into like confetti or something, or just because she's stressed or her heart starts steaming or whatever. Like I used to do that, not to that extreme, but like I used to just imagine like, okay, so how bad can this get with everything I do? Because no matter what I did, I would always seem to really upset someone or really make someone happy and then have no idea what I did or why it was that way. And, you know, we're talking like someone who's already socially awkward, grew up watching a lot of like TV because, you know, the parents were always working. And so there's another like, you know, first starting to like analyze my past and everything. I know exactly why I am the way I am. Well, not some of it, but like, yeah, I understand why I tend to think a little more than others because I had a lot of time to think, a lot of time. I just, we didn't have Nintendo, we didn't have video games, we didn't have internet, we didn't have like all that stuff. And I had parents that had to work. So I was just like sitting around all day. That's why I love Magic the Gathering so much. And that's why I hated seeing it, ugh, and hearing about it. Like, anyways, a certain demographic loves to play Magic the Gathering too. And I'll give you a hint. They're the perpetrators of, in my opinion, the second worst crime you can do. So, first is murder, second is sex crimes. And that is the hierarchy of like the prison system. It's like, you know, or no, sorry. No. No, 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 no. I take that back. That is exactly wrong. The hierarchy is sex offenders on the bottom. Murderers like they're bad, but like oh wait, what was that? It's a child villager. Now see that? That looks like a little girl. Or okay, now we're assuming gender roles. Like, okay, yeah, that could be a boy wearing a purple shirt. Whatever. Get off my back. Just saying, like, Minecraft has only male things, so that's not more of your concern than whether I think like that looks like a little girl. The hair too. Come on. Okay, but it could be an emo boy. Like, no, no, that looks like a little girl. Maybe she's stuffing it. Maybe and she does something. Anyways, sorry. That's what I'm also saying is you need to take what everyone says with a grain of salt. We need to be easier on each other because it's when we start becoming really oppressive that it's just not okay. It's not polite anyways. All right, let's enough of that. Let's actually move these over there. Sorry. Let's go mine some. I don't even where we even at with this video. Oh, jeez, already 40 minutes in. I don't even really feel like I said anything. Uh, and I probably didn't, but like the thing is I'm still trying to work through how to describe this the best way. So different universes, different environments, and that's something that I heard recently, the different universes thing. So it's like you know even just that I picked up somewhere. So like I said, we're always learning, constantly learning, and let's see, and it is like a moving target. What you need to be doing is changing constantly. It's almost changing too fast for us to even keep up. Like, I mean, an example would be ocean cleanup. Like, I heard about all the waste in the ocean. Wow, what are these? These are the fishermen, huh? Or fisher people. Earring in the left ear. Yeah, that was actually the normal one. It was in the right ear. It was you were gay, and then it became, oh, if it's just in any ear, if it's just in one. Because I almost pierced my left ear, by the way. And now, if you have both your ears pierced, and if it's a diamond stud, then you're a drug dealer or a gangster. Then it's like, oh, okay, so whatever. Like what I knew in '96 1996. That was when I was gonna pierce my ear, and I was like, and that was when the Macarena came out, and it was the cool thing to do, like the Eminem Slim Shady look. I really did. I was gonna look like Eminem, and that's scary because I listened to Eminem's music, and I knew what he was about, and I was like, "Yep, I still want to look like that." I mean, I didn't want to go do all those horrible things that he did in that one. I think it's Stan. Is like the really horrible, like, yeah, go listen to that. Or actually, you could just take my word for it. There's that Chris Farley thing. Ah, see, like I want to do these movie quotes and movie analyses, but yeah, he says a thing like I could get a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking my head up a butcher or up a cow's, arse. But I'd rather take the butcher's word for it. That's what it's supposed to say. And of course, he comes out and says, I could get a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking my head up a butcher's butt. It's like, no, your butt. And like, and the guy's like, get out of here now. Like this weirdo. Or no, I think that's not even that one. Like you should watch Tommy Boy. I just watched that on an international flight. That's why I was like thinking about it, and I remember thinking that on that flight, I was like, I want to do an analysis, a behavioral analysis of Tommy Boy, and and I think I did. I think I actually did make a video like that. But it is important to know, like, these are the things that taught me and trained me growing up. And trained a lot of people, my entire generation. That's why it's easier to understand how generations can have such behaviors as they do. And by that I mean like an entire generation can have and this is not like a human behavior, this is like just like an observed behavior of something, saying the generation, like a typical person from a typical time period will act in a typical way. And especially, you can even drill down further to say a typical person from a typical place, from a typical time, will act in this way. But maybe not. And that's changing exponentially because technology, communication, as we're making it easier and more available, then people are picking up the cringe fam fleek speak, yo, like, no, I'm just kidding. It's still uncomfortable but it's even more so what? Oh, for some reason I forgot where we were. I thought we were in the Nether. Wait, what is that? Oh, that's that stuff. Oh, I forget what it's called, but let's go down a little bit. So here's water. Ooh. Oh, and there's lava too. Let's not do that. My luck, I'd get swept into there. But anyways, this is the Warden den stuff. It's in that last video I made. I found one of the signal makers, and I was trying to. Anyways, so let's get back to that though. Shoot, I meant to do well, a little late now. I was doing so good with half-hour segments, but whatever. Um, let's see. Because no, that is important. That is important. I'm gonna go like work on a Jamboard and record this in another way because that's what I'm doing. Is like I'm molding these thoughts and then I'm going and making like educational materials and then or editing them, perfecting them, whatever. And not perfecting, sorry, just like improving them. And that's why I encourage everybody, take these, improve them. Don't claim they're your own thoughts, though. I mean, and okay, so let's actually talk about that. I'm worried about giving analysis or I'm worried about giving my opinions for movies because, like, at a certain point when I'm quoting them or saying what happens, like, I mean, one, it's spoilers, but two, it's also possible copyright infringement because those are the ideas of the writers for that particular movie or TV show. And they get paid to do that. And that's also technically the property of the people that put up the money to make it happen in the first place. And you need to remember that it used to be very expensive to create a movie. Still is. You talk about like millions. I want to say even like, have there been billions spent on a movie? So even that's the thing. And that's not that big of a deal now because we have multiple billionaires. Like even that concept like 10, 20 years ago was kind of like, wait, no way. That couldn't happen. But it does. And phew. So my point being is it's all good. We'll just leave it at that. It's all good. It's getting better and it's going to continue getting better. As long as we don't kill each other first. That's the thing. It's like we keep doing all this stupid stuff and not just in wars, mind you. We're locking people up for their entire lives, like ruining their life for problems that we haven't figured out how to properly solve. See, it's like as easy as that. Like we could solve these problems, and we are. Not that we're not. Sorry, and that's a generalization that could be dangerous or an assumption. It's just actually no, that's a pretty good example right there. We are able to communicate these problems better now that I think we're going to start seeing a lot more changes. It's going to be slow, but we're going to start seeing it. And I know that because even here in Fort Collins, the tendency is to send people to the halfway house, not prison. So, like, we have a very large halfway house and weekender and alternative sentencing situation. Oh, geez, oh no, that's right. That's why that's there. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, I wonder. Trying to like get the one below it. So then if I do this, ta-da, it just flows down into whatever's there. So now I'll know, oh, I can't go that way. Or if I do, I need to bring a bucket, maybe make some obsidian. Ooh, that's what I should. I don't have those water buckets. All right. What's going on here? Oh yeah, I think there's some reason. I think it might be a warden cave or anyways. There's some reason I don't keep going there, but we'll see. All right. Anyways, back to the whole point of this video is like different situations, different factors, and that's why. Oh yeah, I was definitely talking about this during an artificial intelligence video, is because that's why it's so hard to build an AI. Because to build a true AI to mimic the human brain, we would have to mimic every last situation that happened to them, and we're talking every factor, like how hot was it, how much pollution was in the air, how much like all of these different things, because that directly affects how hard did their lungs have to work, like or sorry, that's just kind of like a very specific thing, but or did they or how much sun did they have? How close? Now there's your astrology like nonsense. How that could actually be a fact, or not a fact. That could actually have some relevance if the position of the Earth or the orbit of the Earth was in such a way that there was an increased other factor that's directly relatable to that, like more sunshine or something. I mean, and that, not to sound racist, but I feel like that's the main. I see. I don't know, and that's grasping at straws, but I don't know. I feel like it's rainier in the England area, so there's less sunlight. So just like over generations of skin pigmentation being under needed. You don't need that much protection from sun that's not there. So you end up becoming a little more pastier, a little more whiter. And then, whereas if the opposite's true and it's a very hot or deserty place, then the skin needs to produce more pigments, like, and it needs to become darker. Although I say darker, but then it's like, but darkness attracts light, so but again, that's not how skin pigmentation works. I, I can tell you from my tattoo that it's very hot in the sun, so it definitely absorbs more heat. So I don't know, but I want to say, like, see, and that sounds super racist, a lot of that. So we're just going to leave that there because that is not my intention. I'm just trying to figure out and explain things. And I'm going to stick to, it's not even my lane. I do IT. Like, I fix computers, like, not even printers very well, I would say, like, but no, I fix applications and programs and networks and connections and security and all that good stuff. But part of that is people. And so if I'm going to really, if I'm going to really understand security, I got to understand people. That's why, law enforcement gets trained so much. That's why security guards get trained. I mean, and there's varying degrees, of course. Anyone in law enforcement, that's kind of like an ongoing joke, like, oh no, they're just a security guard, or they're just, oh, grab your whistle and your radio, like you rent a cop or whatever. Like, there's a lot of really mean things. But again, if we focus as much time and effort on, as we do on punishing people, as investigating the factors leading up to it and preventing it, I'll bet you we could even do it faster if we did it all preventative versus all after the fact. And we can't just make the switch like that. Like, we can't just all become like Sweden or Norway, or remember there's that country that I still don't know what it is, but their entire rehabilitation system, or that's what it is. Their entire correctional system is a rehabilitation system. That's what they center their focus on. So they fix the person. Now, oh yeah, it could be argued that we're fixing the people. We're fixing them right up and making them sit in a cell for, 20 years. Like, yeah, okay. I mean, they're not going to do it again, probably because they aged out of the poor decision making by then anyway. That's something that, and that's the other thing too, is like, okay, so that's just one factor of why someone could become like a lifer in prison, and just because of multiple infractions, multiple crimes, multiple instances. It could be because they did something so bad that they were in prison for long enough. And see, even there's a few different reasons why something could be. Actually, yeah, I'm not about to go do that. And I don't even think I did. I think all of these are empty ish. Yeah, because that's just ridiculous. But let's continue on. Oh, we got 5 minutes, so hold on. Actually, I should go do some other things, but I did kind of go on a rant there, and it is important. I'm gonna go do the Jamboard and record that stuff because it is something to focus on. By throughput, I mean when you're trying to help somebody with something, and this is directly for IT. So this is gonna be, I'm gonna put this on the IT Jamboard or the career advice Jamboard because when you're dealing with computer issues or any tech issues, you need to be patient because of these reasons. Because you don't know what they're going through, you don't know what they've been through, you don't know what's currently going on, and it's a big untangled mess. And sorry, so the throughput, and that's another thing to consider. If you just start throwing a bunch of stuff at them, it's going to be friction. There's going to be friction there. So you got to explain it gently, calmly, but you also got to use the the fewest amount of words. And see that, I don't know, it's a toss up. I say that, but then I say a lot, and I can tell people are being patient with me, probably because I'm being so polite with them in the beginning, so they give me a little more wiggle room before they start snapping. And I've still had people still get to the point where, like, their limit, but not quite. And I feel really bad, even as I say that. There's this one lady in particular, and I feel really bad because she apologized, and I could tell she was getting frustrated. I just hope I wasn't starting to look frustrated because well, that one, that doesn't do anybody any good. And I was trying my hardest, not like that. Let's see. I always try my hardest not to upset people just because I know how upsetting a tech problem can be. It is, well, it's embarrassing, it's debilitating, it's like all of these things. Like your mortality really shows when you can't figure out a piece of tech. Like that's just it's a basic way to put it. All right, I didn't get any iron, but let's go ahead and do this and let's head on back. Make sure we just pick up all our stuff that we left, and I don't know. Actually, shoot, I might make another video. We might be back to hour-long musings. I don't know because this was something that was really weighing on my mind, like as I was driving home, and that's what I want to do. Is I want to figure out how to do like a, um, oh yeah, that's right. We gotta hoof it. See, I even forgot right there, and I knew I was gonna forget. But anyways, no, I want to do like a, what are those things called? Not Echo Cast. That's what they're called in Borderland. Podcast. It's not Comcast. It's a podcast. Yeah. So it's just where you talk. Because I know that there is a certain demographic that would rather just sit there and listen to something or listen to it while they're driving or something like that. And that's totally fine. And I might even try to do because there is an option to change these to a podcast. But I don't know if that, like, I doubt that permanently deletes them. But I want to keep these as videos for people that enjoy watching random Minecraft stuff. Because that's also pretty cool. And that helps out with learning things. And Borderlands too. I do a lot of Borderlands videos and talk about computer science. It is fun. Although I need to go back and redo them now that I've kind of refined how I speak or how I'm basically working on my lectures. I wanted to be a professor in computer science. And because of people like my football coach. Oh yeah, I never finished that. We got 2 minutes. So my football coach, he was horrible with finances. He was brilliant with everything else, especially people. So, and that's just kind of like where an easy way to point at someone and be like, here's someone I really look up to. And I see that they have this flaw, but look at all of these other great things. Like, can we really fault them for this when they're doing all this other stuff? And then that goes back to that meme where it's like the teacher writes 9 correct answers on the board and then they write the 10th one wrong. Mm. And everybody starts snickering and they're like, hey, you got that last one wrong. And she's like, right, but did you see that I got 9 of them correct before I got that one wrong? And they were all just stunned. They were like, and then she goes on to say, or he, or whatever, like the story is the teacher goes on to say, actually, I don't even know what they say, but like you can do something right so many times, but as soon as you make a mistake, we're much quicker to point that out. And that's true. Because especially when the giggles start happening and that mob mentality starts happening, especially for kids, because it's like, let's all laugh about this. But it's like, because you don't want to be left out. You're learning how to be a person. You're really not knowing what you're doing. And so that's why it comes off as childish. And right there is a better way to understand why kids do what they do. Kids say the darndest things. Old Jeff Foxworthy or whoever it was. Some redneck that I also thought was funny, but also embarrassed by. So anyways, all right, that's 20 seconds down. I will see you all later. Ta-ta.